Hi, I'm in Riyadh for a unique world-leading B2B food event, and I happened to catch a few moments with someone I've admired for a really long time, Pierre White. And I thought I'd share this exchange as we talked about leadership and work and finding purpose. I hope you enjoy. You know, what I kind of like wanted to always ask you was, so I don't come from the industry, right? I don't come from the food business, I don't come from hospitality or anything like that. And I was always aware of you growing up. I always knew who you were because you were like on TV and stuff like this, right? But then before the pandemic, I came across your Oxford Union talk. And it was amazing. It really resonated with me, a lot of the stuff that you were talking about in it. And there was one particular thing that you said that had an impact on me actually, even over the following years after that, was when you said that when you gave up your Michelin stars, part of the reason you did it was because you felt you were being judged by people who had less knowledge than you.
And that's 100%.
Yeah.
That's what gave me. So I'm asked that question lots. What made you give up 3 stars? The truth is that when you've achieved something, you've achieved something. So winning 3 stars is very exciting because you go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3, and that may have been your dream for years, and you've realised your dream. But then when you win 3 stars, it's a defensive game you play, because you're now playing a game to defend your reputation. So you're not trying to make things magical. They're your dishes. There's so much at risk that you just play that systematic game. And that systematic game is rather boring. You sometimes see it in football. They sort of play for the draw, don't they?
Yeah.
But actually what you want to see is 2 teams playing to win. But when you've won something, then it's about defending your position, is rather boring. It's almost conveyor belt cuisine. It's systematic. It's ABC, 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 because that's what the punters want. It's like when you go to a rock concert. You want to listen to that individual sing all the classics, don't you? You don't want to listen to his new stuff, because the majority of the time it's quite boring. His new stuff is since he's been successful and made a fortune. He's no longer hungry. If you look at those bands when they're young, before they're famous, when they're sort of struggling, and let's be honest, an artist has to struggle. If you don't struggle in life, where's the imagination? And that's the beauty of struggle. And so, for example, say I make £1 million tomorrow, I give it away. Whenever I make something, I give it away because I like struggle. It's like I said in my chat yesterday, a person who works with their hands is a labourer. A person who works with their hands and their brain is a craftsman. But a person who works with their hands, their brain and their heart is an artist. So therefore, 5 years of defending my reputation was rather boring. Waking up in the morning and your children are sleeping, and then going to work and coming back in the evening, your children are sleeping, is not a life. I didn't want to live a lie and pretend I cook when I don't cook. And in those days, to have 3 stars, you had to be behind your stove. Today it's not like that anymore. You can be the other side of the world. You might not go to your restaurant for 6 months.
When you gave those stars up, how did you go about, I suppose, resetting yourself and then finding, I guess, that next mission to go on? Like,
well, what was interesting,
after
what
being in
happened,
the system for so long?
So I gave back my stars. I sort of exiled myself. Because when you give back your stars, what you're doing is letting go of status. And very few people find it hard to let go of status. But I did exactly the same as what I did when I was a boy. Because at 6, my mother had died. I watched my mother die at 6. And I turned to nature. And the truth is, Mother Nature became my surrogate mother. I've now spent 22 years in a kitchen And I've been institutionalized. The only world I know is the kitchen. I leave the kitchen, I've retired, I've stepped down, I've abdicated, exiled myself. All I knew was nature. So for the next 5 years I went to nature. I spent the next 5 years doing everything I did as a child, or dreamt of doing as a child. And I slowly unraveled all this emotion, and I evolved and became the Mark I am today.
Interesting.
Because the Mark I was in the kitchen was programmed, bang, to deliver 3-star food, day in, day out, day in, day out. But there was no emotional growth in the kitchen. Once I put myself back into nature, relived my childhood, plus did other things that I dreamt of doing as a child, I evolved and I grew emotionally and spiritually. And then I was able to deal with the outside world, because having spent 22 years in a kitchen, it makes you quite socially inept. Yes, you've got personality in the kitchen, but outside of that world, you're quite scared. And so the only other world I knew was nature. Being on the riverbank, walking through the woods, walking by the streams, through the fields.
Just reconnecting with what you did.
And the truth is, through that I discovered happiness. I was never happy in a kitchen. Even though I wasn't unhappy, that's all I knew. I was programmed to work, to do 100 hours a week.
Can I ask you, how do you, when you were running those kitchens, how did you, I suppose, implement the standards that you expected within your team? And how did you get people to like rise up to meet your standards and not compromise to, I guess, lower yours?
Well, firstly, you have to get the team around you to believe in your dream. Because the truth is, by getting them to believe in your dream, they can now assist you in realizing your dream. I never won 3 stars. They won 3 stars. They were the orchestra. They created the symphony. I was just the conductor and the composer. So they realized my dream for me. But I had to become the Pied Piper and make them believe in it. Because once someone believes in you, they'll work 100 hours a week. Once they believe in your dream, they can see your dream. They want to be part of your dream. They want to be part of that world. But when that dream is realized, then what you have given them and shown them is their dream. And you've shown them that it's possible.
Really
and that's what's important. Because when people believe in your dream, they'll follow you. But the 2 most important aspects of being a chef is, firstly, you have to be focused at that level. You have to be very disciplined. You have to be punctual. That's one. Secondly, and most importantly, you have to be able to absorb pressure. If you can't absorb pressure, how can you deliver consistency? How can you deliver standards day in, day out, day in, day out? You have to be able to absorb that pressure. If you look at what's happened within the world of gastronomy, chefs have been very clever. They've turned a canopy party into a dinner party. It's called a tasting menu. So they give you 8 courses, 10 courses, 12 courses, but everybody eats the same thing. It's conveyor belt cuisine. It's systematic. Where's the emotion? Where's the art? They try to make little things look pretty, but the emphasis is on the presentation, not the eating. You see them putting little things with their tweezers, and what's happening? It's dying, it's going cold. There's no service. Sauces are in bottles now. They're not freshened with carcasses and passed over the dish, like the old world of gastronomy. It's very systematic. Little foams which taste of nothing, which are tepid. They tell you what you're eating. They tell you how to eat it. Then 30 seconds later, a minute later, they ask you if you enjoyed it. Where's the pleasure in waiting longer than you're eating? I want to see, gastronomy is all about indulging. If you think about it, when you want to go to one of those grand restaurants, you want to indulge and you want to eat, don't you? Rather than sit on the edge of your chair and be told what this is how they got the inspiration and how you should eat it. There you go. Like I once went to a 2-star And they told me that this dish was designed to eat with my fingers.
Yeah.
They told me how to eat the dish. It's obvious, it's a Malteser. Just be able to put it in your mouth. But it's patronising.
Yeah.
So the evening is now about them, not you. And when you think of the world of gastronomy, it's about the customer. It's about them indulging, it's about them drowning, it's about them wow. And when they pay the bill and leave, they miss it. Rather than thinking, what was that all about? All those little knick-knacks. Because what they've done is normally you get them on a tray.
Instead of what you
normally get them on a tray, like the dates, you take one, very nice. But what chefs are doing is they put that on, it's like putting that date on a plate and saying, this is a dinner party, this is your first course. I hope I didn't bore you senseless.
No, honestly, it was fantastic. Yeah, absolutely.